and you give them the master plans, but those fellows just talk. That's us, we're going to implement. No, they looked at them and they said, no, that's not what I mean. We mean that you have them. And he said, okay, listen, can you just give them to us? They said, back in the 70s, when they were embarking on this journey, and they were doing benchmarking, they were asked, which country has the best public transport? And guess what? Nairobi was one of them. And we had great plans for and you remember we had KBS, and it was a perfect, it was moving people. They came here to study about how to move people back home. So you are asking them for plans, but you already have them. Now, that is the mediocrity that we have celebrated for so long. And that. And by the way, I hope you as public don't criticize everything, but if there's one thing that you need to criticize, is this, obsession and glorifying mediocrity, because for me that is mediocrity. You have a town here that has got traffic lights. On one hand, we are saying that we have got the ratio of policemen to people is so low, but you have got policemen in every roundabout. Why? Because you, first of all, do not believe in the rule of law. This is the only place where people don't fear breaking traffic rules. So it's a combined effort. The public has a responsibility, government has a responsibility to stop getting addiction to these studies and just get on with it. You know what? You're not going to get it right. You won't get it right. But at least you can fix something that is not right. But you can't fix something that is on paper. But anyway, that gets me excited. So I do believe that the solution to most of our challenges, anything that has a commercial flavor, government should not be borrowing money to do them. We must bring in the private sector to invest. And all we need to give the private sector is, some of them are just saying, can you just give me, I don't even want a concession agreement. I just need you to waive VAT and this and that. And then we tell them, no, but if you give you VAT, now we will not be able to collect budget. But my friend, anyway, how much money do we lose in traffic? You see, so let's have some common sense approach to PPPs. I believe they are doable. And that is actually a message for the continent, because this is not a criticism for Kenya. Yeah? We have got a PPP framework that maybe works for Netherlands. It's not working for here. Let's adopt one that works here. And let's get the roads built. We can always adjust as we go. Thank you.
Great. Isn't that fantastic? Okay, so if the Principal Secretary will allow, I'm going to ask two more questions to the floor. And who would like to ask the Principal Secretary a question? I'm going to allow two questions. Come on, why has everyone gone quiet? There's Keisha over there. So we've got one. Could we have a microphone, please? A mic runner? Is there somebody get there now? Okay. All right, so we're going to the back there first. Sorry. Okay. That gentleman there. Thank you.
Good evening, all, and our permanent secretary. That was a very well done presentation. You humble us. Now, my question is one, and I'd like to ask it. We've been in this seminar discussing affordable housing solutions. Is there any part of a commitment from the government in terms of rewarding investors who are in real estate, who have adopted green energy technology in housing solutions in this country? And are there any carbon credits that have been considered that could be given to encourage the direction of green energy in real estate? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. That's a very good question. Now, on the issue of the green technology, when you look at our development framework guidelines, it is something that we have actually adopted. We are working with the Kenya Green Building Council. I don't know whether Elizabeth and the team are here.
We were here yesterday.
They were here yesterday. So we're working with them now. The first thing that we have to do is a policy. all right? And we've agreed, and I don't know, that was one of the things that they were going to announce here, that we have agreed to a joint,
It was announced, yeah.
It was announced, yeah. So we are going to be working with them to come up with that policy framework. But even without the policy framework, I think in this budget cycle, the CS came out quite aggressively in terms of lowering some of duties, like import duties on clean energy solution, like even motor vehicles, and so on and so forth. So I do believe this is the conversation now that has started. All right. Now in terms of carbon credit, there's still a lot of. I believe there is a few steps that still need to be developed before we could start talking about a carbon credit and even developing a carbon credit market. So I do believe that we are right in the right direction to solve that. But that is a good question, and we encourage you that in the houses that you're going to be building, just make sure that there's enough greening component, including wastewater, harvesting, and we have a lot of issues with sanitation in this country, and there's so many good solutions out there. And I do believe that there's a way in which we can commercialize it actually. If we think of a nice utility model, where if you offered the households a good utility model, there's reliable electricity, whether it's coming from the sun or whatever it is, from a small settlement, I do believe that they will actually take up your solution.
Thanks, Keisha. You want to maybe pose a question?
Thank you very much. P.S., thank you so much for, in fact, such an exciting delivery. We're from across the continent. I think everybody is watching what Kenya is doing in the affordable housing program and wanting to understand how to apply that. And I think your practical and passionate approach to PPPs and how they operate and how you create a realistic relationship between the private sector and government is great.
I think that deserves a round of applause, actually.
Thank you so much.
So that's very exciting. I think the issue around all of the planning and the feasibility studies, that got me quite excited, because I think the thing about affordable or any housing is when you build it, it's there. And we want to make sure that we do it right. I take the point that we don't want to spend all of our time doing studies, and many who would know me know that I do that. But that, in fact, is the point, that if you can make the data publicly available and put it into the public domain, so you only have to do one study, you don't have to do 60 about the same thing. And that would be such a powerful thing for the state to do, to present that. I think one of what I've heard over the last 2 days here, and also talks with colleagues over the past few weeks or months around this issue, is that one of the constraints to the affordable housing program is the confusion around it, in terms of issues around affordability and the relationship between the financing arrangements and the viability of the developments and the house prices. And that is something that if you have that data that you can present, or encourage others to join you in presenting it, and you've mentioned often you're putting things onto your website. I will watch that website weekly, daily if I can, and share that through our website as well. I commit to doing that. But to put that information into the public domain so that when the private sector puts its money on the table, it's doing so for the houses and not for the documents that describe the houses.
No, thank you very much. And I'm so proud that in the last 12 months, what we've achieved, we may not have built many houses, but I think we have put a very comprehensive plan. It's still not perfect, and we strive for perfection, but it is not perfect. Now, what we did, we have created a portal, bomayangu.go.ke. Every plan that we're talking about, the typologies that we're talking about, the planning that we're talking about, are all on the portal. Now, the next thing that is coming alive now, because I've started signing contracts, is I'm enabling the developer to upload their project on the portal. Now, what that portal has ended up becoming, it has become a marketplace. Because you join in there, because today I've got 220,000 Kenyans that have registered that they want a house. Now, that is no longer proof to me that there is a demand. There is a demand. Now, the only question now my people are asking me, and they've started contributing from last week Monday, by the way. They've started saving towards a house. All right? So as we speak right now, Kenyans are saving towards their homes. And so the question is, where are the developments? I'm saving towards a house, but my only nervousness is where are they? And that is why I'm saying, Shelter Afrique, you're building houses. You're already an approved strategic partner. Go onto our portal and upload it, because there's someone who might just know that Everest Phase 2 is complete and they can buy there. We are looking at a situation whereby the furniture makers can also use that data, because this is no longer some study that was done by a consultant. This is empirical evidence. Now, if people are buying houses, surely they're buying chairs and they're buying wardrobes and they're buying sufurias, right? Now, that marketplace is what bomayangu.go.ke has become. So on that portal, if you go today, you'll see all the pre-qualified strategic partners. Now we are going to enable them to upload their projects. The one giant that we need to slay, and we're working very hard on it, is the approval processes. Because that still costs or makes housing to be unaffordable. Because when you have mobilized capital, if you raise money, they don't tell you we will start charging you interest when you start building. No, when you draw down on the money, they start charging you. When you build houses and you complete, but they cannot be occupied because we cannot transfer title, guess what? That house, that money that is accumulating goes towards making the house unaffordable. So we have taken a very comprehensive view by ensuring that we create as much empirical evidence. And now let the Kenyans who are logging in every day and registering at the palms of their hands, you don't need to go to anywhere. It is all online. You can upload your documents online. And if online there's a problem, there are about 95 Huduma centers that you can walk to across the country. Now, the next step is the Kenyans need to tell me, where do you want a house? Because the minute you tell me that I want a house in Kisaju, in Kajiado County, then you as an investor who is saying I've got money and there's land that is available, what does it mean? It means that you can actually go start building houses for a proven market. So that is our view of how we want to make this process work. And by the way, just to finalize on that issue of the PPP, what we have is a fast-track process which is called SPP, Specially Permitted Procurement, which is part of our procurement law. It's section 118 of our PPADA. And what that allows, it allows me to recognize a strategic partner. Now, and our strategic partners are 5. A, an investor or a financier. 2, you can come in as someone with great technology, because technology is key to affordability. 3 is land owners. A lot of Kenyans have got land. We love land. And especially from the tribe I come from, you're not complete if you don't have kashamba mahali. We all love land. Now, a lot of good land is in private hands. Now, as government, we don't have the money to go buy land like they did in Mexico and so on and so forth. So, because this is a private sector driven model, we have created a platform where you as a landowner can put your land at play and say, I want to provision my land for affordable housing, but I don't have money. And then, because in the same portal, there is someone who is saying, I have a lot of money, but I don't know land in Kenya. And then there's someone who says, by the way, I have no money and I have no land, but I have got great technology. And the fourth, guys, are people who are saying, I have got fantastic execution capabilities. And that is the EPC developers. It is all, and then there is the last category, which is somebody who comes with all five, which is a full turnkey. I have land, I have technology, I have the money, I have the execution capability. We call them a consortium, all right? Now, all those are what we are calling strategic partners. Choose where you want to play. You don't have to be in all of them. The good thing about the portal that we are talking about is that this marketplace is where we are introducing all these people. So once you participate in the various windows, and there's a new one that is coming up, so be on the lookout for it, window 3, which we are going to onboard more land, more financiers, more contractors, and we are still going to continue bringing in suppliers. And then we create one nice ecosystem, and then we start moving like a nice, well-oiled machine. Thank you.
Great, thank you.